Hi, this is Felix. It's week 23, and the topic this week is firsts, which in this instance, I suppose, means things like the first time we were correctly pronounced, the first time we were called our preferred name, the first time we had an affirming transition experience, I suppose. I guess the first thing that came to mind about this topic for me is that the first time I ever went to bar whatever, which is the queer night that I mentioned in my last video, that was the first time that someone ever asked me what pronouns I used or what pronouns I would like. Nobody had ever asked me that before, and I guess I hadn't thought about it at all. So it was really nice that someone asked me, and that I was able to choose in that instance. So that was really important and really lovely. And that's just the kind of space that whatever is it offers those opportunities and encourages those questions to be asked. I can't remember the exact time that I was first called Felix, because I started using Felix as a sort of tester name kind of autumn 2010, and I was only using it in certain spaces like bar whatever, and I didn't know if it was going to stick or not, and it just did stick in the end. So yeah, it sort of happened quite gradually in that sense. I didn't overnight go from one thing to the other. It just sort of, I gradually introduced Felix into my life more and more in increments. But I remember the first time that I met someone at bar whatever, and they asked me on a date, and they were asking Felix on a date, and that was exciting. That was probably like February, March time, a couple of years ago. Nearly 2 years ago, 2011, spring 2011. So that's name stuff. In terms of clothing, I guess like I've pretty much always, since about 14 or 15, I've always worn like t-shirts and jeans, and I don't really see my clothing as particularly masculine or feminine. It's just kind of clothes. What I mean by that is I didn't go from wearing like skirts and dresses to wearing not skirts and dresses, and I would wear a dress now in fact, so I feel like that wasn't really like a first thing for me. It just sort of is what it is. I did get my first suit recently. I've had like jackets and shirts and formal trousers before, but recently I got my first like matching jacket and trouser suit thing. Unfortunately, the reason I purchased this was in order to go to a funeral, but I like the suit and will probably wear it again, and it's a useful thing to have and all that. What else? I remember the first time that my granny called me Felix. My granny is 92 years old, and since explaining to her that I was transitioning over a year ago, she has not once made a mistake with my name or with my pronoun. She always calls me Felix. She always uses he. She introduces me as her grandson. She writes Felix on birthday cards, Christmas cards, letters. She's amazing. She's amazing. Like, I don't know anyone else who's never made a mistake, but she seems to manage it fine, which is great. And I think her being supportive is really important to me, because I'm really close to my granny, and that's really good. Last year my dad put like happy birthday to my wonderful son on the birthday gifts that he gave me, which was really nice. And my parents call me Felix all the time, and he and stuff, which is really good. I can't really think of anything else in terms of firsts. I think because for me things happen quite gradually, and I went through, and still kind of am in, I suppose, a sort of genderqueer fluid place. I don't really feel like necessarily things happened in like a first kind of way, because Felix, it was introduced gradually, and pronouns went from neutral to male quite gradually, and I feel like things still sort of shift around all the time. So but I think the thing about like being asked about pronouns and stuff with my granny are probably the most significant firsts for me in that department. So I hope that covers the topic, and I hope that everyone's having a good festive season, whatever you're doing, and Happy New Year. And yeah, take care. Bye bye.